Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. It's Winnie here again in another video. And today's video, we are going to be learning how to make this basket effect on dresses. You can apply this method to your yoke or any other parts of the dress that you want to make. If this is what you like to learn, keep on watching. Don't skip any parts. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out when I upload another video in future. So without too much talking, let's get to the honey of this video. Let's go.
I love you. Hey beauty, welcome to my channel.
The first step is to create your basic skirt pattern, and that's what we're going to be doing now. So now I'm measuring the length of my skirt plus the allowance that I want. I used 2 inches allowance, and then I'm going to draw that into a straight line. So once that is done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my horizontal measurement. So I'm starting from my waist. I'm marking out my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance, and that's what I'm going to be marking on the other side. So I'm just trying to extend the line. Okay, the first thing I did was to mark my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches so that we can create our block. Alright, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm just going to mark that all the way down to create the block we are going to be working with. Alright, so that we don't get confused. So I'm going to draw that into a straight line now before I now start taking my horizontal measurements. So I'm just drawing that into a straight line now. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my waistline measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Then I'm going to mark where my hip is. I'm using 10 inches. You can measure it on your client's body, or you can use from 8 inches to 10 inches for where your hip starts. So I'm marking my hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches also, and then I'm going to connect that with a curve. Then at the down part of the skirt, I'm just going to take out 1 inch from what I have on the hip measurement. I'm just going to take out 1 inch. You can do more than 1 inch, but because of the design of this skirt is a straight skirt, it's not that pencil, so that is why I just took out 1 inch. So you can do whatever works for you. And then when you are drawing the line, make sure it's not as curvy as this my own here. Make sure everything is forming properly. So now this is the front panel, and we are going to be using this same pattern to also cut out the back panel. I'm just going to use it. I'll teach you how you will do that later in this video. So now I want to mark out where my skirt is going to stop and where my basket design is going to start from. So that is what I'm marking out now. That depends on you. If you want it to come up very well, you just mark where you want it to start from, and then you draw that into a straight line, and then I mark that this is the skirt and that's the basket. So the next thing I want to do now is to mark out my that's my bust pan measurement divided by 2 plus half inch, and then my dart leg is about 5 inches long, and then I took half inch on both sides, and then I connected that to the dart leg, and that's the dart. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So we are done with our pattern now, and we are cutting it out. So I'm going to teach you how you are going to cut the back together with this same pattern, so that you can learn to manage your pattern paper now that everything is really expensive. So now I'm just taking that aside, and I'm going to separate the basket area. If you are new to my channel, you are welcome. Kindly hit the subscribe button, please. So I'm marking out the center front point so that everything I can get to know what I'm doing. So now I'm going to be cutting out the back first. What I will do is that I'll place this pattern, this is my front pattern, on it, and then on the fabric I'm going to leave some space for the zipper allowance. All right, so just watch what I'm doing. So I've left a space for the zipper allowance, and then I'm just going to make sure that everything is aligning properly. You can mark it. So I'm just using my chalk to mark it now. 2 inches is what I'm using for my zipper allowance, so that by the time I turn it with lining and everything to remain like maybe 1.5 inch, it is still okay. So I just place that pattern at that line, that 2 inch line, and then I'm just going to use it to cut it out. So this is the back pattern. Basically, you don't have to use two pattern paper, drafting the back separately and the front. By this you are economize. I'll be waiting, I go talk. You are managing your paper. So we've cut out the back. So now I'm just going to use my chalk to mark the wrong side and place it aside. So the next thing now we are going to do is to cut out the front pattern. You already know that you are going to cut it as it is, as the pattern is. You're going to cut it exactly, so you don't need to add any spacing or anything to the front. So I'm just going to cut it like so. Then you cut the lining also. So I'm gonna have to cut the lining. I've turned it to the lining. I've added my darts. I ironed my zip allowance. I believe most of us will know how to sew a skirt, so I'm going to add my zipper and then join it on the sides with the allowance that I left, the 2 inches allowance, and then our skirt is ready. So this is the skirt basically. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the basket area. So you're going to measure out what you have at the down part of your skirt. Whatever you have there is what you are going to measure on your basket area. So because this is a single pattern, I just divided it by 2. Whatever I got there, I divided by 2, and then I'm going to mark it on the basket area just to take out whatever excess that I might have on my paper. All right, so I'm marking it now and I'm taking out all the excesses away. So I'm going to join it with a straight line, and then I am going to cut it out. So now this pattern, now we need a full pattern. We don't need a half scale pattern. We need a full front body. So we're going to take a fresh pattern paper and place it on it. I'm going to fold it into 2 and place it on it and use it to cut it out. So by that we have a full front and back pattern. All right, I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm really trying to get not I'm trying not for the noise not to be so much, but there's nothing I can do. This is Nigeria and I have to just create this content today for you guys, so please bear with me. So now I've cut out the pattern. This is for the front, so you are going to cut out a separate one for the back. We cannot use one for the 2. You know, we are working on the paper itself, so you have to cut the front and back separately. Exactly, the front and back. The back does not need to have a zipper allowance. All right, so you just cut it exactly as it is. So now working on the basket, we are going to take our pattern and then we are going to be marking out 2 inches interval on the edge of the pattern paper. As you can see me do, I've seen that 2 inches works perfectly to give you the right spacing and everything. So just mark out 2 inches interval on the edge of the paper at the top and at the down part. Mark out 2 inches interval at the top and at the down part, and then you are going to connect everything with a straight line, connecting each together, like all the like that. Going to connect it together like that, and then you are going to do that on the 2 on the sides also. So now we are going to do that on the sides also to form the horizontal line. We just did the vertical line. We are going to take 2 inches interval also to form the horizontal line. You do it on both sides, and then you connect the line together. Make sure that your lines are straight. This can be really tricky. You can use a longer ruler if you know that it's going to be confusing, because it can be really tricky. You might think you are drawing straight lines and you are not actually getting it. So this is the back. We are going to do the same thing to the front, which I have done here. So we are going to place that aside and take our fabric. We are also going to cut out 2 inches rope. You can use like 1 yard. That 1 yard safe, you will not finish it. But if your basket is very high at the skirt, you might finish the 1 yard. So I'm going to cut out 2 inches strip, which I've done now. And then you sew everything into a rope like that. You sew it like you are sewing a rope like that. And once that is done, you will now start placing it on the lines like this. As you can see me do, you start placing it on the lines like so. When you do the horizontal, you do the vertical also. So I've done that on the back, and this is what it looks like. This is what yours should also look like by the time you are done. So I'm going to do the front also and come back to show you what it looks like. So I've done the front and back, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join both the back and the front together. We don't want it separately, we want it to be together so that we can attach it to the skirt easily. So when you join the front and back together like this, you are going to replace it with your rope like that in the middle like that, so it will not show that you joined it. So I've gone ahead to join it, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join it to your fabric. So you're going to fold it into 2 like this and notch the midpoint. If you notice, the paper is tearing, so white paper is very, very difficult to work with. I advise that you use brown pattern paper when you are doing yours. So now I've taken out the skirt. I loosed the zip side a bit, and then I'm also getting the midpoint and I'm attaching it together, and then I'm going to join it straight, which I have done here. So at the down part, I'm just going to take another strip and use it to cover the raw edges. Then I'm going to join the back, because mine is not having a slit at the back. So I'm gonna ahead to do that now. So the next thing you are going to do is to, if it's a skirt, you can add your band, but this is a gown that I'm working with, so I'm not going to be adding any band. But if yours is a skirt, you can add your band. So I'm going to gradually take out the paper. You have to do this gently and carefully so that you don't rip your thread. All right, just be calm and gentle with it and gradually take it out one by one. Then after that, I'm going to give it a very, very good press, and voila, this is what it looked like. It came out really, really neat and beautiful. As you can see, it is very, very neatly done and beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. If this video was helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out when I post another tutorial. Till I see you in my next tutorial, I want you to know that I love you and I care. Bye.